Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we're diving into something incredibly beautiful and touching that really showcases the depth of the relationships within BTS, and specifically the mentorship and brotherhood between SUGA and Jimin. We're talking about the skills, the knowledge, the wisdom that SUGA has passed down to Jimin over the years, and how Jimin has openly acknowledged and expressed gratitude for everything he's learned from his young. This isn't just about music production or technical skills, although that's definitely part of it. This is about artistic philosophy, creative confidence, work ethic, and the kind of life lessons that can only come from someone who genuinely cares about your growth and success. So make sure you hit that subscribe button, smash the like, drop a comment telling me which SUGA Jimin moment is your favorite, and let's explore this wonderful story of mentorship and friendship. Alright, so before we get into the specific things that SUGA has taught Jimin, I want to set some context about why this relationship is so special and why SUGA specifically has been such an important mentor figure for Jimin throughout their careers together. SUGA, whose real name is Min Yoongi, came into Big Hit Entertainment already having significant experience with music production. Even before debuting with BTS, he was working as an underground rapper and producer, creating beats, writing lyrics, and developing his craft independently. By the time BTS debuted, SUGA already had a producer mindset, understanding not just how to perform music but how to create it from the ground up. Jimin, on the other hand, came from a contemporary dance background with formal arts education but less experience in the actual mechanics of music production and songwriting. So from the very beginning, there was this natural mentor-mentee dynamic where SUGA had knowledge and expertise that could really benefit Jimin as he developed his own artistic identity beyond just being a performer. One of the first and most fundamental things that SUGA taught Jimin, which Jimin has acknowledged in various conversations over the years, is about understanding music from a producer's perspective rather than just a performer's perspective. When you're a vocalist or a dancer, you tend to think about music in terms of how you're going to perform it, what the choreography will be, how your voice will execute the melodies. But SUGA helped Jimin understand how songs are actually constructed, how different elements like beats, bass lines, melodies, harmonies, and lyrics all work together to create the final product that listeners hear. This shift in perspective is actually huge because once you understand how music is built from the production side, you become a much more thoughtful and intentional performer. You're not just singing notes anymore, you understand why those specific notes were chosen, what they're meant to convey emotionally, how they fit into the larger sonic landscape of the song. Jimin has talked about spending time in the studio with SUGA, watching him work on tracks, asking questions about why he makes certain production choices, learning about the software and equipment that producers use. In some behind-the-scenes footage from various BTS documentaries and episodes of Run BTS and other content, you can actually see moments where SUGA is explaining things to Jimin at a computer or in a studio setting, pointing at screens, demonstrating techniques. These aren't formal lessons in the traditional sense, but they're incredibly valuable moments of knowledge transfer where SUGA is sharing his expertise with someone he cares about and wants to see succeed. The patience that SUGA shows in these moments, despite his reputation for being somewhat reserved and straightforward, really shows how much he values Jimin's growth as an artist. Another crucial area where SUGA has mentored Jimin is in songwriting and the creative process of developing original music. Jimin has production and writing credits on several BTS songs and on his solo work, and he's talked about how intimidating it initially was to step into that creative space where you're not just interpreting someone else's vision but actually creating your own artistic statement. SUGA, who has extensive songwriting credits across BTS's entire discography and has created countless songs for himself and other artists, has been a huge source of guidance and encouragement for Jimin in this area. SUGA has shared insights about how to approach songwriting, how to translate personal emotions and experiences into lyrics that resonate with listeners, how to structure a song so that it builds emotionally and keeps people engaged, how to know when a song is finished versus when you're just overthinking it. This last point is actually really important because Jimin is known to be a perfectionist who can be quite hard on himself and who tends to overthink his work. SUGA, who is also a perfectionist but who has more experience managing that tendency, has helped Jimin learn when to trust his instincts and when to stop endlessly revising and just let a piece of work be complete. In various interviews, Jimin has mentioned that SUGA gives him very honest, straightforward feedback that he deeply values because he knows it's coming from a place of genuine expertise and care rather than just empty praise. SUGA will tell Jimin when something works, when something doesn't work, and most importantly, why, giving him the tools to improve rather than just making him feel good or bad about his work. The vocal recording process is another area where SUGA has passed on valuable knowledge to Jimin. As a producer who has recorded countless vocal tracks, SUGA understands the technical aspects of getting great vocal performances in the studio, things like mic technique, how to warm up your voice properly, how to approach different takes, how to listen back to your recordings critically, how to approach different takes, how to listen back to your recordings critically, how to identify which takes have the best emotion versus the best technical execution, and sometimes those aren't the same. Take. Jimin, who is obviously an incredibly skilled vocalist but who came from a performance background rather than a studio recording background, has learned so much from SUGA about how to be effective and efficient in the recording studio, how to communicate with producers and engineers about what you're trying to achieve, how to push yourself to deliver your best performance while also not destroying your voice in the process. There's also a really beautiful element of SUGA teaching Jimin about creative confidence and trusting your own artistic vision. Jimin has been quite open over the years about struggling with self-doubt, with feeling like he's not good enough, with questioning his decisions and his abilities. SUGA, who despite his sometimes tough exterior is actually quite encouraging and supportive of the people he cares about, has been instrumental in helping Jimin develop the confidence to trust himself as an artist. SUGA has encouraged Jimin to not second-guess his instincts, to believe in his unique perspective and voice, to understand that what makes him different is actually what makes him valuable. In an industry where there's so much pressure to conform, to follow trends, to do what's commercially safe, SUGA has consistently encouraged Jimin to stay true to himself and to create art that feels authentic to who he is. One specific example that fans have noted over the years is how SUGA's influence can be heard in Jimin's solo work, particularly in songs where Jimin has more creative control. The production choices, the lyrical themes, the overall artistic approach shows clear signs of lessons learned from SUGA. The way Jimin structures verses and choruses, the way he uses his voice as an instrument within the larger production, the way he's willing to experiment with different sounds and styles rather than just sticking to what's safe, all of this reflects the mentorship and knowledge transfer that's happened between them. It's not that Jimin is copying SUGA's style, that's not what good mentorship produces. Rather, Jimin has taken the principles and techniques that SUGA taught him and applied them in his own unique way, creating something that's distinctly his own while still showing the foundation of knowledge that SUGA provided. Beyond just technical and creative skills, SUGA has also taught Jimin important lessons about work ethic and dedication to craft. SUGA is legendarily hardworking, known for spending endless hours in the studio perfecting his productions, writing and rewriting lyrics, constantly pushing himself to improve. Jimin, witnessing this level of dedication up close, has adopted a similar approach to his own work. He's talked about how seeing SUGA's commitment to excellence inspired him to push himself harder, to not be satisfied with good enough, to always be striving to improve and grow. But importantly, SUGA has also taught Jimin about the importance of rest and taking care of yourself, because SUGA learned some hard lessons about burning out and pushing too hard, and he doesn't want Jimin to make the same mistakes. This balance between working incredibly hard and also knowing when to step back and recharge is a valuable lesson that SUGA has passed on. The relationship between SUGA and Jimin also demonstrates something beautiful about how learning and mentorship work. It's not a one-way street where SUGA just downloads information into Jimin's brain and that's it. Rather, it's a dynamic, ongoing relationship where they both continue to learn from each other. SUGA has talked about how working with Jimin and seeing his perspective has influenced his own approach to music and production. Jimin's background in contemporary dance, his understanding of movement and physical expression, his emotional openness and vulnerability, these are things that have enriched SUGA's own artistry as well. The best mentorship relationships are like this, where both people are growing and learning together, or teaching someone else actually deepens your own understanding. Jimin has been quite vocal, especially in recent years as he's become more established as a solo artist, about expressing gratitude to SUGA for everything he's taught him. In various interviews, Weber's posts, and even in award speeches, Jimin has made a point of acknowledging SUGA's role in his development as an artist. This public acknowledgement is important not just because it's sweet and shows their relationship, but because it helps fans and the broader public understand that the success Jimin has achieved didn't happen in a vacuum. Behind every successful artist are teachers, mentors, supporters who shared their knowledge and helped them grow. Jimin's willingness to credit SUGA publicly shows both his gratitude and his understanding that we all build on the foundation that others provide for us. What's particularly touching about this mentorship relationship is that it exists within the context of a friendship and a brotherhood. SUGA isn't some distant teacher figure who Jimin only interacts with in formal settings. They live together, travel together, perform together, share meals together, joke around together. The teaching happens naturally within the context of their daily lives and their genuine care for each other. SUGA teaches Jimin not because it's his job or obligation, but because he wants to see Jimin succeed and grow. And Jimin learns from SUGA not just because he's seeking technical knowledge, but because he admires and respects his hyung and values his wisdom. This organic, relationship-based mentorship is so much more powerful than any formal instruction could ever be. Looking at Jimin's trajectory from debut to now, you can really see the impact of everything SUGA has taught him. The Jimin of 2026 is not just a more technically skilled performer than the Jimin of 2013, he's a more complete artist with production knowledge, songwriting ability, creative confidence, and an understanding of the music industry that comes from years of learning from someone who was already ahead on that journey. His solo album and his individual work show an artistic maturity and a production sophistication that reflect the lessons he's absorbed from SUGA over more than a decade of working together. And the beautiful thing is that this learning never stops. Even now, even after all these years, Jimin and SUGA continue to exchange ideas, share knowledge, and help each other grow. So guys, that's the complete story of what SUGA has taught Jimin over the years and how Jimin has acknowledged and expressed gratitude for this mentorship. From music production fundamentals to songwriting techniques, from studio recording skills to creative confidence, from work ethic to artistic philosophy, SUGA has been an instrumental figure in Jimin's development as an artist. And Jimin's willingness to acknowledge this publicly, to give credit where credit is due, shows both his character and his understanding of how important mentorship and learning from others is in any creative field. Their relationship is a beautiful example of how members of BTS support and elevate each other, how they're not just bandmates but teachers and students to each other, constantly sharing knowledge and helping each other become better artists and better people. What do you think about SUGA and Jimin's mentorship relationship? Have you noticed the influence of SUGA's teachings in Jimin's solo work? Let me know all your thoughts in the comments. And if this video made you appreciate their bond even more, please give it a huge thumbs up, share it with your army friends, subscribe if you haven't already, and hit that notification bell. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.